And I'd like to introduce you all to Natan Brenner. He's going to speak on the theme of Malchut.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I will try to speak very slowly, okay? Some students think that I have accent. I don't know why they think like that. If you cannot understand me, please, okay, raise the hand, don't feel bad, okay? You are not the first one and not the last one that will say that you cannot understand something, okay? Now, okay. The topic is Malchut, okay? First of all, welcome everyone. Okay. The topic is Malchut. This is kind of a continuation what the Rabbi Neely spoke the last class. He spoke, if you remember, about the role of God in our life, okay, and the role of God in Judaism, okay, the Keter. Now, the next step is, okay, we have the Keter, now we have the kingdom, okay, because that's the part that comes with the king. So this is all about how come and where we can see the kingdom of God, okay, in a relationship with us and with our people. Now, all the idea is how can we connect with God? Where we see God in our life. Okay, where you see God related with the Jewish people. And we can see what we call Malchut, kingdom, okay, of God in here, in 4 different parts in Judaism. The first part is in Aleinu. Everyone remember Aleinu is almost at the end of the service, and usually it's the part that everyone is very hungry and is very happy that finally we are there, okay, on Saturday morning, and it's almost at the end. However, it's at the end, but still it's one of the most popular parts. It's so popular that it's one. It's one of the few prayers that you can, okay, and you pray 3 times a day. I don't know if pretty sure you will remember that we pray 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Okay, and Aleinu is one of the few ones that we pray the 3 times. The second one is personal prayer, and of course makes sense. Okay. We try to connect with God. In some way, try to make more highly spiritual our prayer, try to concentrate and try to make connection with God. The third part, okay, that the topic will be the kings of Israel. What happened with the king of Israel? What does it mean to be a king in Israel? And what happened when the king in Israel misbehaved? And finally, the wedding. Okay, the wedding is a very important part because in our Jewish life, and how we see the wedding as part of our Jewish history, and how we see the wedding as part of our relationship with God. That's the 4 different topics that I will connect with the framework of Malchut kingdom. Okay, is it clear now? Can you hear me very well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the first one is Aleinu. Okay, Aleinu is a very old one, not the oldest one, but it's an old one. Okay, some people think that was created by Joshua. Okay, the student of Moses who conquered Israel when we arrived there after Egypt. But most of the people, the scholars and the rabbis, think that was created by Rabbi Tanarab. Why? Because the concept and the way that is made and the vocabulary that used is more according to the rabbinical schools than old Hebrew that could be from Joshua. And the first time that we were reading, okay, Aleinu was created. Aleinu was during the service of Rosh Hashanah. Okay, actually at the time that we say Malchut, okay? And that we bless and thanks God for His kingdom here in the land. So it makes sense that alignment is so important part in our connection and relation with God. It was so important for the people that really become to be very popular. And people start to like and love. So they started to use during the morning, after that during the afternoon, and it got to be so popular that at the end the people also wanted to add also to say Alain during the evening. Nothing said that you need to say Alain only once a day or twice, okay? So it's just as any other poem, okay, that you have during the service, so you can repeat and you can say whenever you feel like you want to say this. Now, the question is why it was so popular and why is still popular? Not only because it marked the end of the service, but also it's very important and rich for what that means. Alaino, okay, is divided in two parts. The first paragraph, okay, the first part is the part of the role of God in the and with us, with the Jewish people, where we say that God really is our King, and we are very happy and thankful for God for choosing us as His people. The second paragraph is the role of God in the world. How is the master of the universe? And it's so important that also, especially in the Ashkenazim, okay, on the part that there's a part that we bow, okay, both in front of the ark. And this bow represents in some way the way that you bow in front of the king. That was the main idea. Okay, the same way that you bow in front of the king, you bow in the Alain. Do you know which part I'm talking about, or do I need to read it? No. Okay, good. If you need, I have there the Sidur, okay? Just really feel comfortable, okay? I always say to my students, okay? Every question is a good question. Not always, but most of the time, okay? But in this case, it's very important, okay? Because we are talking about the concept, and I take for granted that really that most of the people know, but sometimes you don't realize or you don't recognize which part I'm talking about. So don't feel uncomfortable, really. If you don't remember which part I'm talking about, just let me know, okay? So, now, where's one? Alainu also become to be also very controversial. And really controversial. There is one part, okay, of the Alainu, where is that? That say, who has not made us like the nation of the world and has not placed us like the families of the earth. Okay, remember this part? Is it in the beginning, okay? After bowing. And there is one part, okay, that in most of the Sidurim you will not find. In most. Still there are some Sidurim that you can find this part. And the part say, okay, who has not designed our destiny to be like theirs, okay, and not our lot like that, all the multitude, until now everything's okay. But there's the sentence of, for they bow to vanity and emptiness and pray to a God who cannot save. And that sentence, the last sentence, you will not find in any Sidur from the conservative movement, from the Reform, and most of the Orthodox, okay? You still can find in other Sidurim. Some Orthodox they use, the Chabad use also the same sentence, and that sentence is very controversial. Because what do you think? Who is these people that bow to vanity and emptiness and pray to a God who cannot save?
Idolaters.
Huh?
Idolaters.
Idolaters. What else? Huh? Even? Okay. What else? Think about history, okay, more. What do you think that it will be these people like bow in front of a God that doesn't exist, okay, that unto the emptiness. Atheist, yes. And historically, okay, keep in mind that after the destruction of the temple, images, and also especially Christians, okay, to Jesus, okay. They saw that really Christians go in front of the cross, and people were very upset, and especially we are talking about at the time that before the Inquisition, okay, when thousands of Jewish, okay, a lot of different communities in the Europe were extinct, were attacked because they were Jewish, and they forced them to convert. And some people were very upset with this. And so that's why they act. The problem that when you add this sentence, okay, you don't need to say who is these people that go to the emptiness. Everyone understood. And each of you, okay, understood a different way. But the church, okay, took very personal the attack, and they pushed a lot. The Sansman pushed a lot during the Middle Age to erase the sentence. But still, until 1750, you can find still in Europe, okay, this sentence. But become to be more difficult for the community that tried to reprint the Siddur to still have the sentence, because if you wanted to print any book called this, that it happened the same by the way with the Talmud, okay? You wanted to print something during the Middle Age, okay, and especially after when the printing already existed, okay, you needed to ask permission to the church in most of these countries in Europe, and they had a censor that checked your text, and if they saw that there was any part that talking back against Jesus or against the Christians, they asked them, okay, you want to have this text back? You want to print, you need to eliminate the part. That's why some part of the Siddur and some part also of the Talmud were cut because we are very sensitive to the issue with the church. Now, also was very important for the Jewish people that be in good relationship, because if not, they will be killed. Very simple. Okay, there's not a game here. Okay, it's not a question of honor. Okay. If they were upset with you, they think that they really desecrate their religion, they could kill you. Yes, miss.
Now, I wanted to ask you again, when was Aleinu written, in the 3rd century?
Yes.
So it wasn't referring to Christians at that time.
Correct.
So
Correct.
this is just a reinterpretation
Correct.
of an old prayer.
Yes.
Okay.
As you say, that could be related to the pagans. Okay, could be related with idols, could be people that really pray other gods, but with the time was much clearer the connection with the Christians, okay, more than anyone else, more than the Muslims. Yes?
Through the Dark Ages, commerce was controlled by the church as the source of knowledge as well as the source of raw material. And so the printing press had not been invented as movable type, but printing had occurred, but it was through the auspices of commerce and the church.
Yes, definitely, okay. In some places also, people had the custom to speak at the time of the sentence. Okay, of course, we don't do this more today, okay? But you can see that was a very sensitive issue, okay? And you need to understand, if you were living during the Crusades and you see how the Christians were destroying their community, killing thousands of people, forcing people to convert, they didn't have too much love to the other religion, okay? It's not like today we are more in an open society. then religion was part of most important part of your identity. Okay, that's about the Aleinu, okay? And you can see as Aleinu, okay, Aleinu, it was all about, okay, praising God, okay, for choosing us as the chosen people, His people. That's why, by the way, we finished the Aleinu saying that God is one, okay, very similar to the same idea of the Shema. And also praising God to be the master of the universe, okay, very important. Now, the second part that we see the kingdom of God in our life is with the prayer. Okay. Now, at the beginning, okay, you can, when you read the Torah, you will see that individual personal prayer happens always. When you got a problem in your life, you always try to connect God in some way. It's very famous, the case of Hannah. Okay, the mom of Samuel, okay, the prophet, she connected and she asked God, okay, to have a baby and find a solution for her suffering. You could also find in a different ways, okay, different cases. When, for example, we read, I think it was 2 weeks ago, okay, when Rebecca was pregnant, also she had a very difficult pregnancy, and also she asked, please God help me because I can't continue this way. So it's very common in the Bible, the connection, try to find the connection with God in our prayer. Now there's several kind of communication with God, because what is a prayer is a communication with God. We can have a petition, okay, that happens during the weekdays. We can have a confession, that also we can find. Where can we see, by the way, confession in our service? In Yom Kippur, very good. Okay, that's the most important one, right? In Yom Kippur, we have meditation, recollection, thanksgiving. Okay, for example, Ashrei. Okay, another one. Okay, that we another very important prayer also is thanksgiving, praise, adoration, intercession. All of this is recognize the connection between we and God. Okay. Now, is there any correct way to pray? No. Okay, there's not just one way. But there's a few concepts that you need to have in mind. First of all, when you pray, okay, and that's usually you can see in the literature of the Middle Age, okay, from the Rambam, Maimonides to the Kabbalistic, to everyone. First of all, your mind need to be connected with God. Okay, that don't try to say in autopilot the prayer. Okay, come with kavanah, with intention. Okay, try to really to visualize the words that you are saying, because you know that when you repeat the same prayer time after time after time, our tendency is go in autopilot and repeat again and thinking about what we need to do during the day. But it's very important that when you pray, just take your time, try to visualize every part, okay? For example, okay, when I say the Shema, I try to visualize, okay, like the Shema is like there is nothing and there is only God in the universe. In some place, I try to visualize everything empty and only God, okay, there. Try to connect in some way, okay, what you say. That really means something. Now, you can see that at the beginning the prayers were personal prayers. Asking God for something, thanking God for something. For example, thanking for the year, for the recollection of the fruits and vegetables, and for the food concept, okay, in agriculture, or if we have rain or not. And in Israel, it's very important. Okay, so if it is a season of raining and we have rain, people thanks God. So it was a lot of communication, but most of the time at the beginning was just personal. Your problems, thinking, asking, all this kind of problem. But with the time, start to change. Okay? In the meantime, when we had the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, especially the first and the second one, but especially the first time, okay, the first temple, people went there and they began sacrifice, and through the sacrifice was the connection with God more, okay? Now, the problem happened when we lost the first temple. When the first temple was destroyed, suddenly we didn't have where to pray. How can you connect with God? Can you pray in any place? Or must be in a specific place, like in the Holy Temple? And how can you do? Because we used to really to bring an animal, sacrifice, and that's our way to communicate with God. Okay, how can we do? So, our modern Judaism was born more in exile in Babylon. Okay, and there, okay, we created what we call today the synagogues, and place where we can meet together and we can pray. Now, at the beginning, okay, when we pray together, someone that really know more than the rest of the people, okay, started to lead the service. Because think about this, okay, not everyone knows how to read, okay, and to write, okay. Also, not everyone, if you know how to read, we didn't have a printer, it was very expensive, okay. But also not everyone knows by memory all the prayers. You need someone that is very knowledgeable, someone really that study. Okay? Think about, for example, today the rabbis and the cantors, someone really that study for a lot of years, so they know the materials. They know all the psalms, they know all the beauty, and they can receive and they can create something, put together everything. That's what we call the Shliach Tzibur. That's the role of the Shliach Tzibur. Someone that was in charge of the service. Now, that's what the situation until the printer was created. Okay, the printer really was maybe one of the most important revolutions in humanity, because it changed everything. Because suddenly, okay, the knowledge become to be more common for everyone. Suddenly, everyone could connect easily with God. You don't need someone that can lead for you the service. You have a book, if you know how to read, and by the way, in the Jewish people, was very important the literacy. Okay, we made a very important emphasis, teaching our kids to read and to write. We have almost 100% literacy. The reason is very simple. Okay, and that's very important, education, but also with prayer. If you don't know how to read, how can you connect with God? How can you follow the prayer with the rest of the community? Now, the two oldest prayers that we have are the two most important ones, the Amidah and the Shema. And both prayers were created by during the Second Temple era, by the Great Assembly. Okay, the Great Assembly, not only they created the first prayer that we know today, the Shema and Amidah, but also they were the ones that decided to pray 3 times a day. Okay, our first Siddur, not printed, but really the first one that someone tried to put together different prayers to help the community was made by Rabbi Gaon in 1875, the Common Era, and was in a response to one of the requests from a Jewish community in Barcelona. Jewish community in Barcelona, they asked him, you know what, we are very small like that. We don't have anyone enough knowledge to lead the service. Can you please let us know what is the basic of prayer that we need to say in order to connect with God? So he was the first one to create the first siddur. There's other very old siddurim like the siddur of Rashi and others, and there, but by that time, okay, in the end of the 9th century, it began to be what we call today siddurim. Before that, we didn't have siddurim. It was just one person that had a lot of inspiration or knowledge that lead the service. Only by the 9th century, at the end of the 9th century, 10th century, we began really to see some prayers put together. Okay, now, one of the big issues, okay, with is who pray. Okay, everyone can pray. Great. Now, I say that we have 3 prayers, okay, a day. And one of the big questions was what happened with the woman. That they need really to pray also 3 times as the men. And we had, okay, the Bible, a lot of women really that are really connected with God and they really pray very hard and God heard their voice. Now, after that, it becomes to be a big question if the woman needs also to pray 3 times a day in the same period of time, because you know that you have certain time to pray the morning, afternoon, or evening. It's not that you can do the morning prayer at any time. Okay, you have certain hours, depending the sun, depending the hours. Okay, the division of the hours. If it's winter or it's summer. And to be honest with you, at the beginning, I couldn't understand what's the problem. Why the woman cannot really pray the same hours that anyone else? Why we need to do something special for them? Like, no, we are equal. Okay, if I go and I need to pray from, let's say, the Shacharit, okay, before 9:30, why not the woman? I only understood, okay, why the rabbis freed the woman for the obligation to pray, not to pray, but to pray at a specific time, okay, only when I had my oldest daughter, okay, and then I understood why, okay. We had the oldest daughter, and my wife was awake all the night. She was very exhausted and said, "Can you please help me?" So we switched all the time during the night with her, and at the morning when I was supposed to go to the synagogue, I was so exhausted because I couldn't sleep well that I couldn't go. And I said, oh, now I get it why. Okay, it's not that they were chauvinists that didn't want the woman to pray with at the same time of the men. Simply like, because they are in charge of the kids, sometimes you can't. Okay?
At the same time, the household wasn't the same household. It wasn't like there was a refrigerator and a stove. You had to keep the fire going and such.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Someone who does the cooking and the cleaning, right, Vern?
well, there are responsibilities to maintain the family.
That's true. That's true.
So they weren't allowed to, even if they were free to pray?
No, woman also in the Talmud, they can pray. No one said that they cannot pray.
Oh, I see.
The question was, they have the same hours, okay, to pray as
They
the
don't
couple.
have to pray. That's it.
They don't need to have like the prayer specifically like in between the hours, okay? They have a little more flexibility. Okay. Now, the next question is correct. We understand now, okay, why we pray. We understand that we pray because we want to connect with God. The question is, what is better, to pray by yourself or to pray in community, in minyan? And that's, by the way, why it's so important to pray in community, okay? That, I don't know if you know, but if we are already here, a little of advertisement, okay? Like we have a minyan on Sunday morning, okay, here at 9, and also in the Jewish Academy in Maitland Also, there's community meeting every day from Monday to Friday, from 7:45 to 8:30. Okay, if we are already the topic, why is better to pray in community than individually? I can communicate with God also at home, and maybe sometimes I can concentrate more. So why do I need to drive half hours to a different place to communicate with God? Doesn't make sense. Well, there was one of the most important questions that the rabbis like to discuss during in the Talmud. And the idea is better if you pray in community, by far. Okay, for several reasons. Okay, and first of all, you can concentrate better when you are in the community. Secondly, sometimes if you are by yourself at home, you don't do it. Okay, you start to do something else, and the time becomes to move on, and suddenly it's too late. Because you always find something else to do and you postpone all the time the prayer. If you go to the synagogue, okay, there you are, you do it. Another thing is sometimes you make mistakes. Everyone does mistakes when you pray by yourself, okay, because you are thinking about something else or you are in a rush, okay. But if you pray in community and we repeat in community some of the prayers like the Amidah, so in this way, as a community, everyone say correctly the prayer. And the one that I like more, okay, from the Masechet Berachot, is that what that means tzibur. Okay, tzibur is community in Hebrew. Okay, and community, the word tzibur in Hebrew is made by three letters. Okay, tzadik, the first letter, that means righteous. Okay, the second letter, okay, bet for tzibur. Okay, the second letter is a bet, that means beinonim, represent beinonim, average. And the resh, the last letter of tzibur, okay, tzibur means community, is reshaim, weak. Okay, so what that means? That means that in order to have in every community, you have three kinds of people. The people that are very righteous, the people that are average, and the people that are wicked. Now, you need the three people in the community, because all these people together is what makes the community. And you need everyone praying for God. Because of course, God likes the tzaddikim. But also he likes also the Rashaim, because he's part of his people. And also if and rash and bad people, wicked people is praying, means nothing is totally lost. Maybe the person with the time will become to be closer to God and will start to follow the mitzvot and do good deeds. Okay? And the Benoni, the average, can become to be a tzaddik when we start to pray and start to be inspired by God. So you need everyone in the community. It's like a family, okay? You don't choose your family, okay? Just, you get it, okay? You try to survive the best you can. And you love everyone as they are. The same happens as a community. Okay? You don't choose your community. There you are. That's your identity. That's who you are. And you need to love everyone and try to make the best for what you have. Okay. The third part are the kings of Israel. The kings of Israel, okay, this is a nice map that I found, and actually, to be honest with you, I don't like so much this map, okay, because it's not very exactly what happened during most of the time, okay. Let's see if I have something. Let's see, okay. You see there's, at the beginning, okay, we didn't have any king, okay, and I will go back to here, okay, to the map. We didn't have any king because God was our king, okay, and we had prophets that hear the word from God or every time that the people had any problem, okay, especially when we arrived to Israel, to the land of Israel, every time that we had a problem with one of the people around that they tried to fight us, okay, we had problems, we asked the prophet, please, and we pray to God, okay, please help us. And the prophet, usually the prophets were also generals most of the time, okay, they are military leaders also, civil and military leaders, and they fought against the enemies of Israel. And they were always in contact with God. Now, came a point that the people asked to someone, okay, you know what, we want a king also. Every other people, okay, has a king. We want to be also normal people. We want also to have a king. And someone was very upset, say, what are you talking about? We already have a king. God is our king. We don't need anyone else. And no, we want anyway, okay? And God was a little upset, but said, you know what, they want, that's fine. But you need to explain to them what happened with the kings. Okay, and someone was very clear to the people. You want a king, that's okay, but be careful. King will take for what you wish. King will take your daughters. Okay? King will take your sons for the military. King will tax you. Okay? Will take your property. You will suffer a lot. Don't think that everything is beautiful. Okay? Be careful with this. People say, you know what? Anyway, we want a king. So the first king, okay, and so Samuel was in charge to select and to choose the first two kings. The first king was Saul. Saul was very interesting because he was from one of the smallest tribes, Benjamin. Okay, a very small tribe that I will show you in a map in a few minutes on the north of Judah. Okay, and Saul was very imposed physically. A very tall person, very big, very strong. And that was the kind of king that the people wanted. Someone strong that can protect them physically. Okay? And the second one after Saul, okay, and he was king for 40 years, was David. David was the second one. And David created the kingdom of Israel, okay? He expanded the borders of the kingdom. Okay, and he wrote some of the Psalms also with his son Solomon, and he was a great military. Now, he wanted to create a temple, a holy temple for God, because really he wanted to say thanks to God for everything what he did for us. And also in this way, we could have a stronger relationship and connection with God. But God said, no, I don't want that you will build it, because in your hands you have a lot of blood. He wasn't very innocent, let's put it this way. Okay, I will talk in a few minutes more about this, okay? So he chose his son, Solomon, the third one, a very wise person to build the temple of Israel. Now, Solomon, everyone knows the story, and very wise person, okay, he wrote a lot of psalms. However, maybe because my background is political science, not a very good politician. Actually, pretty bad, okay? Because after him, when he died, became almost 2-3 years after that a civil war, because he abused with taxations. He wanted to create a lot. We had a lot of women, a lot of wives, from all the different kind of people around. Also, he created a lot. He built a lot. Now, building is nice, but costs money. Okay? And that's a lot, and makes the people work very hard. And the people were exhausted, especially the north part of the kingdom, what was by the name of Israel. That was the rich part. Judah was more the spiritual one. is what is more or less the core of our history, okay? More or less the area where Abraham was, okay, was more area for the animals, okay? But the agriculture area where you have more civilization, more commerce, more trade, more rich was the north part, okay, more developed. Let me see okay, there is the map. After he died, okay, his son wasn't very good politician, so the kingdom broke in two parts. Okay, Judah was in the south, and that's the part that I don't like so much in the map, because actually, okay, Judah was much smaller. Okay, maybe that was the maximum extension of the kingdom at the time of David. But Judah, very soon, the kingdom of Judah lost most of the territories in the south, and began to be only around the
name?
yes, around the name more or less. Okay, like you see the lake, the Dead Sea, and around the name and the Dead Sea. Okay, in this area. Israel was the rest. As I said, Israel was the richest one. Now, Judah was the Holy Temple was there. And that's why it was more spiritual. Because it had the temple and had all the religious hierarchy. Now, the problem with the kings, also in Judah and Israel, is that the kings were humans. Okay, as any other person, they had strongholds and they have weakness points. And not everyone will behave in a very nice way. Actually, okay, I think that we can create a great HBO series, okay, from the kings, okay? You can have there a lot of murders, stealings, okay, false witnesses, idolatry, whatever you want, there you have, okay? And a few examples, you know about David and Bathsheba. The same King David, okay, he was in the palace. He saw a very beautiful woman there, okay, in the next building. He was in love with a beautiful woman that was taking a bath, okay, and he decided he wanted to marry her. She was already married, no problem. Sent the poor husband in the first line in the next war. Bye. Now you are a widow, I can marry you. Okay, by the way, Bathsheba was the mother of the Solomon. Okay? So that's part of the abuses of the kings. Okay? Not always, okay, the kings, and that's the most important part of the kings, not always the kings rule according to the law. We expected, and actually the prophets also expected, that the kings will rule according to the law of God. You have the Torah, you have the mitzvot, you know very well what you're supposed to do correctly and not, how to behave. And actually they broke a lot of the mitzvot. Like for example, in the case of David and Bathsheba, or in the famous case in the Israel kingdom of Ahab and Jezebel, that they broke all the mitzvot possible. Also, they tried to bring idols to the Israel. They stole property from other people. Everything. Now, for every bad king, we have always a prophet, someone that tried to call the attention of the king and say, "Hey, you are going too far from the law of God." Okay, because we are the people, we are the God people, and we need to be ruled by the law of God. It's not like the king can rule whatever they want and they decide whatever they want. There is a kind of constitution, very clear. The constitution is Torah, and you need to follow our constitution, the Torah. So every time that you saw a king that acting very unethical, you had always a prophet that stood up in front of them. Now, not always with a lot of success, also sometimes they went to exile, and sometimes they were killed, and wasn't a very easy one, okay? And some of them were also very popular, okay? Like Elisha, that we always call Elisha, okay? For everything, believe me. There's not a community, Jewish community today that will hire Elisha as the rabbi. I can guarantee this. Okay? He was a very strict person and not very friendly, okay? But it's very important, okay? Every time, so what happened every time that God or the Jewish people or the people of Israel misbehave, God, okay, punish them with invasion, with bad weather, or destructions by other nations, or also the destruction of the monarchy family. Now, what happened with the two kingdoms, okay? The kingdom of Israel, the richest one and the most developed one, was destroyed by the Assyrian Empire in 722 before the Common Era. And the Assyrians, they had a policy of taking the local population and transfer them to a different part of the empire. So in this way, they lost connection with their root. And usually, when you bring some people to a new place, they try in the old times, okay, to adapt to the customs of the people at the place, okay, to assimilate, including taking the religion of the people in the place, okay. Like an example, the Samaritans, okay, in Israel. Now, the kingdom of Judah and the Assyrians, okay, took in exile all the kingdom of Israel. Is what today we call the law, the 10 tribes laws. Okay, 10 tribes from the 12 were living in Israel, in the kingdom of Israel, and we lost them. Okay, the only 2 tribes that were made the kingdom of the Judah, and actually it was only one, okay, more than the others, okay? That was the kingdom of Judah, and the tribe of Judah. And this kingdom survived until 580 before Common Era, when it was destroyed by the Babylons. And they went to exile, and that's very important that this exile is very important, because what we call the modern Judaism was created in Babylon. Think about the month. The name of the month are named from the Babylon names. Okay? Or the idea, the creation of the synagogue, the prayers, everything, okay, was what is today the modern Judaism was created in Babylon. Okay? Now, the question is, why there? Why not by the people that stay in Israel? Okay? Not the Babylon they took all of the people there. Only they took 10,000 people. That's it. However, they took the leadership. They were very smart. They weren't like the Assyrians that they took everyone and dispersed everyone around the empire. They said, you know what? If you want to kill a snake, what do? You cut the head. So the same cut. By the way, I never did it. I want to say this. So the Babylon, they did exactly the same. What they did, they took the leadership, they took the leaders, all the David family, the rich people, all the rabbis, and they took them in exile to Babylon. And with this done, end of the community there, at least for 70 years. Yes. I told you. Sorry. So now, what's the difference between the king and the different human kings, okay, that you see in the Bible? One king, okay, the king God, is perfect. The other kings, you saw the stories, not at all, okay, because it's normal. Okay, they are humans. No one is perfect. Okay, and that's one of the beauty of the Bible, that you cannot find a perfect character. That say, oh, it's a tzaddik 100%. No, everyone does mistakes. That's what makes us humans. Okay? Now, the king of Israel is patient, the kings, the human kings, very volatile. Okay, they wanted something and they wanted now. The king is just, God is just. Okay, if you behave correctly at the time, okay, everything's okay. But if not, okay, you receive your punishment. The kings, the human kings, were corrupt, were self-centered. They break the law. Now, you can say, which law? Kings create the law, correct? That's why they are kings. Well, that's the concept of a modern kingdom, okay? But not the Judaism. In the Judaism, the kings didn't create the law. They applied the law created by God. And that is the big difference. That's very important. Okay? Because we think, okay, kings like a president. Okay, they can create a law and that's it. So you can say, the kings don't break any law. They create the law. They don't like the law, change the law. But not in the Judaism. For in Israel, okay, in our history, the law wasn't created by the kings. The kings were in charge to implement the law created by God. So when the kings broke the law, they were punished. Them and the people. Okay? That's very important. That's what makes us special as a chosen people. Okay, and talking about the chosen people, we move to the wedding. And that is the last part, the last connection, okay, of the big topic of kingdom, Malchut, okay, where we see God in our life and in Judaism. Now, some people have the idea that we marry only for having kids. That's the goal. But not in Judaism, okay? If you go for the beginning of the Bible, okay, with Adam and Eve, okay, what do you remember why God created the Eve? Yes.
Because he said it wasn't good for Adam to be alone.
Exactly, for company. You need that match, okay? You need someone that in company. You cannot live by yourself. By the way, that's why also we live in community. You cannot live by yourself. You need someone else in your life. And that's the main reason why we marry. Yes, it's important to have kids, of course. Hey, I have two princesses. I believe 100%. However, okay, the goal is the life by yourself is meaningless. You need someone else next to you. And that's very important. Now, where can we see, okay, the relationship with God in a marriage, the wedding? Several places. First of all, okay, just in the basic one, okay, when you marry, they say, Mekadesh Moshe Israel, okay, they make automatic, when you marry, it's automatic the connection with our ancestor, with Moshe, with the law, and with all the Jewish people. Okay, you are part of the tribe. Okay, you are not by yourself. There's a problem with it there, okay. So, Judaism believes in the concept of soulmates. Okay? It's very important. There's a story in Talmud that 40 days before a boy born, God already knows who will be your match. Okay? Sometimes it doesn't work. That's okay. The second opportunity also could be your match. You never know. Okay? You see, that's why we have Yiddish marriages. Okay? The primary purpose of marriage is love and companionship. And that's very important. That's different with other religions. Okay? Now, how do we marry? Okay? First, we are very legal, okay? So we have a contract according to Ketubah, and I will explain more about this concept in a few minutes. Now, the marriage, okay, between certain close relatives is totally forbidden. You can't. And also, in most of the world, okay, the Jewish world, since the Middle Age, you only can marry with only one woman. Okay, men cannot marry with several women, with the exception of some people in Yemen. Okay, that still they have more than one, but starting the Middle Age, okay, we only allow to marry only one woman. You know why? The reason? Think about what is to survive with more than one mother-in-law, okay? Very tough. Okay. My wife is not here, so I can't speak. No, she's the best mother-in-law. Just for the record, she's the best, okay? Oops. Okay, now, how we marry, okay? There are several parts. There are two parts. In order to marry, there are two parts. Okay? One part is Kiddushin and the other part is Nisuin. It's not the same. There are two different parts, okay? The part of Kiddushin is a part of more legal one, okay? In order to be married, okay, could be by three different ways, okay? But one, by contract, okay? Second, okay, accepted and give for someone a gift. The contract is the tuba. The gift, huh?
The contract's not the ketubah.
Oh. Okay.
It's a separate star.
Okay.
We don't use it. The ketubah is addition to the actual kiddushin. It's not kiddushin itself.
Okay. The second is the gift, okay, and the third one is a sexual relation. Okay, when you have a sexual relation, okay, you are married. Okay, that's very dangerous today. Okay, now the gift. Okay, the gift should be something historically. Okay, something with value. We use today the rings as the gift. Okay. Now, why something values? Because okay, they want to be sure that you are serious. Okay, that you have a good intention. It's not like, okay, you know what, I want someone, here is a chicken, go on, okay, come on. No, you want to be sure that you know you have serious intentions, okay, with the person. You really want to build a family. You take seriously, so you really like, you create a serious contract, and or you make an economical effort in order to contract someone else. Now, the nisuin is the part, okay, after the kiddushin, after you marry, okay, is when you complete the process, okay, when you both go to the home, okay, both new husband and wife, they move to the new house and they start a new life as a family. In the past, okay, in the past, that would happen a year. Today we do everything together, okay? But traditionally it could be a year also. Because you wanted to be sure that the person that had the new husband and had enough time to create the house. Okay, to build the house. Okay, it's not one day to the other. So that's why it usually took time. Now, what was the problem? That in some cases, okay, after the kiddushin you are married. But what happened if one of them suddenly they discovered they love someone else? Or what happened if the husband went to build the house and never came back? Okay? That makes a problem because you already are married. But so what do? So in order to prevent this uncomfortable situation, the rabbi decided to put together the two processes. Okay, the part of the kiddushin, the part of the legal, and the other part of the nisuin, that the start of the life. Okay. Now, In a wedding, there are several parts. And every part you can see, okay, is in some way connected with God. Every part. Every part is connected with God. Every part is connected with our history, with the Jewish people, and with our God. First of all, the ketubah. Okay? The ketubah is like a contract. Okay? You marry with someone, and that was the best protection for the woman. Remember that who worked and who was the owner of everything was the man. So in case that the relationship didn't go well and you need to divorce, you want to be sure that the woman receives some protection. Okay, they didn't work empty, okay, without anything. So the ketubah guarantee the woman as the weak part of the relationship that if something happened, you receive something. Okay, so it's kind of protection for the woman, and it's very important. Now, the other aspect, very famous aspect, okay, very important aspect, is the chuppah. Okay, the chuppah is a symbol of the new house. Okay, when you marry, okay, you go and you marry under the chuppah. It's like they symbolize the new life, okay, and a new house. Now, also symbolize, okay, the death of Abraham and Sarah, okay, when we're ready to receive visitors. Another part, the important part at the time of the chuppah is what we call the Shiva Brachot. Okay, we say there's several traditions. One tradition is to say, okay, the Shiva Brachot within the chuppah. And some people can say the Shiva Brachot also after. Now, also in different nights. Okay, I had a friend in Israel, he married, and her family, they did, I think it was for 7 days, different parties, and they said the Shiva Brachot for each of these days. And you invite other people of the family to say the Shiva Brachot. And the Shiva Brachot, first of all, you need to say with minyan, a quorum of 10 people, and that's a very strong connection with God. Because look, what does mean Brachot? The blessing. We bless God, okay, who has created everything for His glory. You are married, okay, you start a new life. But the first thing that you do is to thank God and bless God for creating, okay, everything. For fashioning the humanity, okay, for fashioning humanity as His image, okay, for gathering grooms and bride, okay, for who created joy and gladness. So there's different blessings that we keep in mind. God also in the most important moment, the most important moment we start a new life, we have in mind God, and we bless and thank God and make our connection as a new family with our root, the root of everything, okay, God. Now, other part of the wedding, okay, we drink wine because wine always represents happiness. Okay, that's why we always drink wine as any excuse possible. And also, okay, the groom smash a glass. Okay, I need to censor after that a little the record, okay? Because I will tell a story, okay? Sometimes you need to be very careful, okay, with which kind of glass you pick, okay, to break. Yeah. And I will explain by what will represent before, after that, okay? Usually, we choose an expensive one. Usually it's a champagne glass, and wine glass, okay, and the groom ready, okay. Now I remember that when I was married, okay, with my wife Nikito, and the family forgot to bring the glass at the time, okay. So one of Emily's aunts came with the great idea to bring an whiskey glass. Okay, notice. So and another aunt said, well, that's very difficult. Let me see if I find some fingers in the kitchen that will be much easier to break, because if not, we will need to send you, take you to the hospital after that. Okay? So yeah, so at the end they found, and I think it was a champagne glass. Now, what represent, okay, the glass? Okay, and that's a tradition that is a tradition. It's nothing like legal, it's a tradition. The tradition say that the first, it was a very important wedding of one of the daughters of a very important rabbi, and everyone was happy, dancing, celebrating, a lot of joy. Came the rabbi with took the most expensive glass and broke it. And everyone was in shock. Why are you breaking a glass? We are celebrating. He said no. Because also at the time, the most joyful moment in your life, and the time you celebrate, you always need to keep in mind and remember the destruction of the temple. So also when you are celebrating, break the glass in order to remember that we lost the temple, the holy temples, and the holy temples as part of our connection with God in a place. So that's why we break the glasses. Okay? Now, not so bad. Okay, as a conclusion, okay, I explained to you 4 different ways today that we make a connection with God and with God as a king. Okay, our king. Okay, as a Jewish people. The first one was with a name. Okay, so celebrate. Okay, our special role as God's subject, and hope for a day when all others will share in knowledge of God as ruler. Because in a line, okay, we really ask and we pray that the other people will recognize also as God as our ruler. Personal prayer, okay? It's a gift, okay? You try to be closer to God. And by the way, that's why it's so important. For example, when we say the Amidah, the first time, or for example in Shabbat, we say this silent before repeating. And silent for me is very important. Because that's the moment that you have the most serious conversation with God. You want to concentrate, you need silence. Because it's a very intimate moment. It's a moment of conversation. And if we only have a repetition of the Amidah, that is the most important prayer that we have, it's very difficult to make a conversation with God. But when you first say the Amidah silently, you can concentrate and you have a truly serious conversation with God and communication. Now, also we saw the history of our kings and the difference between the human kings and God as our king. What are the differences? Okay, what happened when the human kings didn't apply our law, the law of God in our life. Also, finally, we saw, okay, the wedding. Why we married, and also how we relate with the love of God as a king. How we remember God, okay, with the Shiva Brakot. Why we married, not to don't be by yourself, like Adam and Eve, in the creation. Okay, how we also do the tradition to break a glass, to remember the truth of the Holy Temple. So everything, okay, in the wedding is related with God. All our history, our law, the chuppah, everything. Questions? Yes.
Okay. Back a few slides ago, you had said, do you think you did?
Okay. Back a few slides ago, you were talking about dominion and why do we have dominion. And,
Yes.
What the obvious to me was to say punish, so that you could get a person back into the community to pray. And just an example, I was kind of surprised. I thought that would be the reason for dominion.
It's about the chicken and the eggs, which is first, okay? But I remember one explanation, one rabbi that explained why it's so important why in the Judaism we need a minyan for everything. Also for example, for the so important moment of the Tzai. Why? Because the Judaism is a team religion. Okay, you have some, like for example, any sport, you can have an individual sport, you have a team sport. Okay, if you play, for example, in basketball or soccer, okay, you can be the best player in the world, but you cannot do everything by yourself. You need other people around you together, helping each other. The same happens with Judaism, okay? You cannot do everything by yourself. You need other people around you. You need a community. Because remember, you try to improve the world, make this world better, make this world more closer to the image of God, what we think that He has in mind. Okay? So you cannot do everything. You cannot do everything this world better just by yourself. You need help from other people. You need company. That's why we need a minyan as a community together for everything that we do here. Okay. Also, for example, in the prayers, okay, or in Birkat Hamazon, you have one if you have less than 3 people, other one if you have from 3 to 10, or another different part if you have more than 10. Because community is important. We are a team religion. Okay, we need each other in order to make this world at the image of God. Okay, we want to improve the world. We want to make this a beautiful place. Okay, for our kids. Any other question?